All right, we are here in match 5 on the play. Do we like this hand? We've got 2 lands, we've got a Thought Scour. If we're up against something like Tron, we're really relying on this to get us ahead. I think it is a keep though. It's a pretty solid hand. I'm not sure you mulligan this in the dark. There's no way in hell I'm mulliganing this against an aggro deck. Fetch out a basic mountain, Tarfire something, play this tapped, bolt something else, untap, maybe you drew another land, boom, snap bolt. Or you play this, pay shock, scour, hold up denial. That's probably even more enticing, especially if you're not up against something like burn. Yeah, maybe it is okay even if you're up against burn. I'm not sure. Depends on how much we need to scour and how soon. Our opponent is thinking long and hard about their hand. That or they are AFK. One of the two. They decided to mulligan. Cool. Not cool they mulliganed. I could live without that. Cool they made a decision. And it's our turn. I think we want to lead on this. If we don't need to cast one of these bolt effects, our life total probably doesn't matter that much and we get a Steam Vents Thought Scour. I like the idea of having a red source available, so I think we're going to roll with it. There's also always the option of fetching out the basic mountain if we really need a painless bolt. I guess it's not quite painless. Oh, hey, Affinity. Or not Terrarion. Oh, this is eggs. This is eggs. We've never played against eggs on the channel, I don't think. That's exciting. Alright, our opponent is gonna have a lot of artifacts on the board. And then they're gonna try to use Krark Clan Ironworks. Actually, let's pull that up, just in case anyone doesn't know that card. Krark Clan Ironworks. Thank you, Google. Let's pull up Gatherer. Can we just have the image? It's gonna be small. You guys can Google it. If you don't know what it does, when the opponent finally plays it, we will take a nice good look at it. We're gonna Thought Scour here because our opponent's on a combo deck. And I would like some pressure. Okay, Hooting Mandrills, thank you. Nice to see you, buddy. I'm a little unhappy that you didn't come with a fetch land, but you brought us a second Stubborn Denial, so I can't be that mad. We are going to bolt our opponent here because we have to tap this land anyways, and we're just getting bolt out of our hand for free. Not a lot of bolt targets in their deck. I believe there's one. I don't remember its name. It's a creature, it costs 3. They might be playing it right now. That guy, Scrap Trawler. You can bolt that so that they can't just start comboing off. What the opponent's going to try to do here is sack artifacts like Terrarion or the eggs in Tron, Chromatic Sphere, Chromatic Star. Those kind of things, make mana, draw cards, whatever. Scrap Trawler is going to allow those cards to go back to their hand if they have, say, this costs 1, but let's say they have a 2 CMC artifact like that, and they sacked this Terrarion, and then they sack the 2 CMC one. Scrap Trawler says, okay, you sacrificed a 2 CMC, you can go get a 1 or 0, and then they're going to put Terrarion back in their hand, play it, keep the cycle going. If they have a Krark Clan Ironworks, they can sack any artifact, in which case they sack, say, Darksteel Citadel, and then they sack this, and then they get back Darksteel Citadel, and then they put this back down, and then they sack it again, and they just get a bunch of mana. I don't know if we want 2 visions here. I think it's worth it. I definitely want to hold up 1 denial. I don't know if we need both. Mana Leak and Island are both actually quite appealing. I think we want the Island first, so we're going to do this, and obviously we're going to get in for 4 here. We could kill this, but I don't know if we want to yet. We very well might, but I think I don't want to do that until I have Denial up as well, in case they cast Krark Clan Ironworks. That's a mouthful. Krark Clan Ironworks. Because really, if you keep Ironworks off the table, they're in bad shape. There we go. Take a long look, because it's going to hit the bin. 4 mana artifact, sack an artifact, add 2 colorless. We're going to counter that. Now, I believe this requires mana. It does. That's excellent. We're going to play this. I believe we're going to Tarfire Scrap Trawler. It's going to hit the bin. They don't have any artifacts that cost less than 3, so the ability is going to fizzle. They can't sack this in response because they're out of mana. And then we just deal with this. Now, do I actually like that? We definitely attack. That's a no-brainer. I don't know if we Tarfire or play Tarmogoyf. We want to do one of the two because we can only hold up one Stubborn Denial here. We have a Mana Leak coming, so if we don't end up needing this, we can hold up it and Leak, which is nice. Killing this could slow them down quite a bit, so I like the idea of that. I'm just going to go for it. Keep in mind they're a combo deck, so if you keep their engine off the table, you're usually in good shape. Ichor Wellspring we're going to let resolve, even though it represents a card now and another card when they sack it with Ironworks. Right now, our job is to just keep Ironworks off the table. If we succeed in that, we're probably in great shape. That's fine. You can cantrip, although that is a little annoying. Mishra's Bauble, that's fine, I think, yes. We didn't counter Ichor Wellspring, there's no way we're countering Bauble. Nihil Spellbomb makes Snapcaster Mage worse, but that's okay too. These dud artifacts are all things they're going to want to sack to Ironworks to make a ridiculous amount of mana. Now, Nihil Spellbomb makes me actually want to flash in this Snapcaster Mage, because then we'll have 6 power and we'll have a 2-turn clock instead of a 3-turn clock. What can they theoretically do here? They are out of mana again. We're going to do this. Tarfire. I don't care. Stubborn Denial then. Still doesn't matter. Cool. Now we've got 2 counters up, and the opponent's dead in 2 turns. They're going to take a look at our Mana Leak. That's fine. It's a nice Mana Leak. Take it in. Mana Leak, definitely not as good as Stubborn Denial in this matchup. If they do end up resolving Ironworks and then they just start making 15 mana, their win condition, by the way, is Emrakul, for those who don't know. They're going to want to make 15 mana, hardcast Emrakul, and then, well, blow up our permanents and kill us. Basic Island, Mana Leak, once they have their thing resolved, is a lot worse than Denial, since Denial is a hard counter with a fatty in play, and we're probably losing if we don't have a fatty in play. What do we got? If we can leak it, we'll leak it. If we can't, we won't. Terrarion is going to get sacrificed. They're going to draw a card and make some mana. That's fine. Can't stop it anyways, so let it be. They've got 2 in their pool, 3, 4, 5 mana. They already played a land for turn. I don't think they have an out to this. Counters are very good against this deck. You can also Ancient Grudge, Krark Clan Ironworks while they're trying to go off, which is generally something you want to do. You should probably try to do it when it's not their main phase so that they won't just sack everything and then have a bunch of mana, because that's really dangerous. Ironworks, we're going to Mana Leak that one, I think, because they know about Mana Leak. Also, Mana Leak just counters it. Cool. I guess they wanted to see if we'd do it. I do not have a plan against eggs. I believe the deck is known as eggs because it cracks its artifacts. And Chromatic Sphere and Chromatic Star are kind of egg-shaped. At least Sphere sort of is. Eggs aren't spheres, but you get the point. It also might be because it was a combo deck with second Sunrise and Sunny Side Up, Eggs. That's probably something. Don't know if we want EE. Basilisk Collar probably saves us from Emrakul by getting our life total high enough. But we probably won't have enough permanents to survive the Annihilator trigger. Artifact Hate is easy. Don't want Sweepers. Blood Moon looks really bad against a deck with a bunch of artifacts that produce mana. Vendilion Click seems good. Deprive, excellent. Spreading Seas I don't want. Ceremonious Rejection, just more disruption. Let's drop EE. We can't put it on 4 to blow up Ironworks, which is basically the scariest card in their deck. If we keep Ironworks off the table, we probably win. EE can blow up a bunch of artifacts at an inconvenient time for them, but I don't think it's worth it. We're going to drop our dedicated creature removal, probably a non-zero amount of burn. We're going to want some to hit Scrap Trawler and the face. Spell Snare hits some stuff. It's definitely not as good as Denial, Leak, Rejection, and Deprive, so I could see cutting Spell Snares. Snapcaster Mage is staying for sure. I could live with dropping Simic Charm. That's not doing a lot. This is probably just going to be used for +3/+3 reach, in which case it's strictly worse than a Bolt. Speaking of which, we probably drop one more of those. Call it a day. What do we got? Let's sort this. Plenty of disruption for the stack. Maybe we cut one Spell Snare, but it hits Ichor, Wellspring, and what else? Can we find a recent eggs list? Probably not, but I'm going to take a quick look anyways. We have 30 seconds. Well, we're going to make a very informed decision for next time. Other 2 drops, not a lot. I think I'm willing to cut one of these. Keep a Lightning Bolt, maybe? I don't want the Dismember. I think it's just Lightning Bolt. More reach. Snare doesn't seem very good. I'm going to run this. See how that goes. We are almost certainly on the draw here. Don't think there are a lot of combo decks that want to put the opponent on the play. It's not great, but I do think this is a keep. We've got Bauble Scry, we have 1 piece of interaction, and we have a clock. Enough lands to do whatever we want forever and ever, amen. I think this is worth keeping. So naturally, I'm going to keep it. Oh, it's a Mishra's Bauble Mirror. Not the kind you would expect. No Death Shadows or Tarmogoyfs across the table. Actually, if our opponent drops a Death Shadow or a Goyf on us, I would flip. That would be crazy. They're probably considering whether or not they want to crack this Bauble now or at all. Keep it to fuel Mox Opal. What do we draw? Not a land? It's a land. That's okay. We're going to cast Mishra's Bauble. And they might have Graveyard Hate, but we're still going to use it now. Because scrying here looks really good. It's a land. Fantastic. We got rid of it. I think we just get... What do we get? The Steam Vents? It's a Steam Vents or a basic. I'm going to get a Steam Vents tapped, I guess. Our life total isn't very relevant, but it's something. I guess we could have had Disruption up if we paid Shock. Our life total is ever so slightly relevant, though, so I don't think I like paying Shock there. Inventor's Fair, a big pain. Might be worth running a Spreading Seas for. I could see Spreading Seas over that last Bolt that we threw back in. Ceremonious Rejection. How much mana do they have? This is online. They could slam an Ironworks next turn. So I kind of want to go Delver, hold up Rejection, instead of playing Tarmogoyf. The upside to this is we can leave Misty uncracked for some Delver Scry. They're going to gain life. That's annoying. They're also going to be able to get artifacts, which is also annoying. Oh, that's like having another 4 pieces of your combo card. Sack Terrarion, okay. That's going to replace itself. They might be making red mana for Pyrite Spellbomb, just a Scrap Trawler. Okay. Debatable that we should have countered that, but I think I'm okay with letting it resolve. We're not going to fetch yet because I want Delver Scry. We've got plenty of basics that we can get. Snapcaster Mage. I actually... Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I want that. Don't reveal it, don't fetch yet. That means we have Rejection, Snap Rejection. And that just seems too good to pass up. Let's shock. We're going to cast Tarmogoyf. Also means we could snap Revelry at some point if we're so inclined. We're going to keep leaving that Misty uncracked. Potential for Delver Scry is something. They don't need to know what lands we have available. We obviously don't want to attack into that Scrap Trawler. We also have 6 burn spells in our deck, which means 6 more ways to take this out that don't take out Ironworks. So I think it's pretty defensible to not counter that. Makes a lot of sense to me. Goyf's a bit small here. That's going to draw them cards, but once again, that's okay. Don't think we want to fight them on cards. We want to fight them on the cards that matter. Visions, yeah. They are going to have a lot of draws to redundant combo pieces, but we have a clock. Hopefully Delver's going to transform, then we can get in with both of these dudes. Should be a fun time. They're also missing their fourth, technically third land drop, which means they're not slamming Ironworks yet. They're going to get rid of that first Opal. Mox Opal is legendary, which is a very good thing. What does that even do? Sack it, put up to 1 target card from your graveyard on the bottom. Okay, so it's just an artifact that cycles. Just another thing to sacrifice or produce cards if they want to dig to their combo. I was thinking it was Wayfarer's Bauble to find lands. They're going to look at our top card, so I might actually want to fetch it away. But we're still looking at it first. That's going to get them back their Mishra's Bauble. Or the Mox Opal, potentially. That ain't bad. No, they're choosing the Mishra's Bauble. That's the reason I wanted Scrap Trawler off the table in the previous game. Just slow them down a bit. They have Ironworks and Trawler as their engines. They're going to try to produce card advantage and or a bunch of mana using those 2 cards. If you stop them, their deck is a bunch of artifacts that don't do anything. They're going to draw off Bauble. We're going to take a look at what they saw. It's a Tarmogoyf. I actually think we shuffle that away. We definitely don't reveal it. Do I want that Goyf? It's certainly a clock. Means we still hold up Revelry and Rejection. But we don't have both. That's the key. We have either or. And how relevant is that? Pretty relevant, I would think. Then again, it's a massive clock. I'm going to draw it. We have plenty of lands anyways, so it's not like we can't play Goyf and do stuff. In for 3. Inventor's Fair is going to end up putting them back to 20. Which is another reason I like having massive clock here. Definitely want to leave a blue source untapped in case we just want a rejection. That way we still have Delver Scry. We haven't Delver Scryed yet, but the option to Delver Scry is where the value comes. I'm not going to shuffle away a Goyf if I want a Goyf. It's a little ominous that our opponent on the combo deck is just doing nothing. On the other hand, I kind of like that. There we go. I think this is when we cash in the Delver Scry, right? Other than countering things like this, I'd rather have Basic Island, I think. Traverse. That is not online as of yet. We can put an instant in the bin by Revelrying this. I'm going to swing. That does speed up our clock. That gives us a 2-turn clock. Does that actually give us a 2-turn clock? We take this out. It also puts creature in the bin. These become 5/6s. They're going to go to 5, I think, because of Revelry. Oh, yeah. Then again, if they have 2 Ironworks, we're in trouble. Whereas right now, we have the ability to rejection snap rejection, which seems extremely strong in and of itself. I'm going to give them an extra turn here and not take out the Scrap Trawler so that we can cut them off of the Ichor Wellspring. That's already on board. We don't care about that. Do we pay shock here? I don't know. Our life total isn't really relevant. We won't... I mean, we can cast all 3 of these in that scenario, but it doesn't actually do anything for us. We're not expecting anything like Remand. I think we just play this tapped. Is there any reason not to? Rejection, Snap Rejection just requires 4 mana. Revelry, Snap. Revelry isn't online even if we shock. Revelry, Snap Rejection, obviously not a thing. We're going to play this tapped. We've got plenty of blue mana. They're going to go back up to 12. And we're probably going to pick a fight with Revelry on their end step over that Scrap Trawler. Assuming we don't have to rejection, Snap Rejection. They're using the Inventor's Fair to get something, probably. Oh, boy, I can't counter that. That's a Whir of Invention. X equals 4. Okay, we let that resolve, and I would like to blow it up immediately. This. Okay, we didn't get to blow it up on their end step, which I feel like in Paper Magic you definitely get priority for. We are going to do it on their upkeep, though. Green-red. Just get rid of that. They're going to make a lot of mana. They're also going to get a lot of artifacts back thanks to this Scrap Trawler. They won't be able to use it to cast Emrakul, though. And that's the important thing. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be able to cast things. After a spell resolves, both players have to pass priority to go to the next phase. So we should have had priority in the end step there. We had mana up. We had cards in hand. I hadn't clicked 6. I clicked 8, which does not pass when you have mana up. And we have a stop, not on our end step. That's the problem. Alright, I saw the stop on their end step and thought we were good. That's the problem. My fault. I don't think I've ever had that problem come up. It's possible I have against a blue deck. Now the opponent's thinking about what to do here. They can sack Bauble, sack Wellspring, get back Bauble, sack Trawler, get back Wellspring. I don't know if you want to do that. They might end up sacking Ironworks to itself, just so that they fizzle this and don't take 2. I believe this is also going to check on resolution if they control 3 or more artifacts. So if they sack too many, they also don't gain their life, which is relevant. The opponent's probably figuring out how they can use their mana on the upkeep here. Another Whir of Invention would do it. That's for sure. That might be what they're going for. It looks like it. That's going to be a problem. I don't know if we're going to be able to stop them. If they were here for another Ironworks, they're going to be able to sack a lot of stuff. And Scrap Trawler's still in play. We'll probably have to just rejection an artifact on its way back down. Maybe that Ichor Wellspring. Scrap Trawler triggers. They're going to get Mox Opal back. That's big. That seems very big. 5 mana. Not Whir? They need to tap one more thing for Whir, I think. No, 2. Whir is 3 blue and then X. Not sure what they're getting. Oh, yeah, they're tapping more stuff. One more? One more. There we go. It's a Whir of Invention. And this is why we have 3 Stubborn Denials in our deck. Unfortunately, none showed up quite yet, so we might still lose this, but we've got a shot. They're going to get back Mox Opal, that's going to fizzle, that's going to gain them a life. And now we have to figure out if we can stop them. Because Emrakul cannot be countered. Bauble. When they sack, it's another Scrap Trawler. That's going to give them 2 triggers each. I think we just go for it right here. This is probably the best thing we can counter. Besides, Wellspring on the way back draws them 2 cards. Because one when it enters, one when it goes to the graveyard. But they probably already have an Emrakul. So I think I'd rather just keep them off of the Super Engine. If they have 2 of these, they get back 2 artifacts per sack, which seems extraordinarily good. So we're just gonna hope. We shouldn't quite 6. Maybe I'll just hit the 1 key a bunch of times. They might not have it. It's entirely possible. They might not. Always a chance that the deck fizzles. A lot of combo decks tend to do that. If it doesn't fizzle, we go to game 3. And we give it a shot. They make more mana, they probably sack that, make even more mana, play that, sack that. Draw another card, get back another 0. Makes me glad I countered the second Trawler. If we didn't, they would be getting back 2 zeros. Another Opal, tap it for another mana, sack it to the Ironworks. That puts them up to 7. They can sack 1, 2, 3 as well, which gives them another 6. So right now they have up to 12, 13 if you count the Inventor's Fair. Down 1, up 2. No, they're doing it that way. Oh, they want to draw cards, so maybe they didn't have it yet. Then again, countering the Scrap Trawler also cuts them off of cards, because they'd be able to recur a lot of stuff. I'm not sure, but they might be able to do this perpetually. They sack that. They have enough for Emrakul here. Is it Emrakul? They're cashing in Inventor's Fair for another artifact. Aether Flux Reservoir. What? Is that what we're doing? Let's just take a look at this for anyone who has not seen the card before. 4 mana artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. It's basically Storm style. You're going to gain 1 life for the first one, and then 2 life for the second, 3 life for the third, 4 life for the fourth. And it's just going to exponentially accrue. They're going to gain a bunch of life, and they might just go above 50 and dome us for 50. Which would be quite spectacular. So maybe this person isn't on Emrakul. Although it's entirely possible they've got 1 Emrakul, 1 Aether Flux Reservoir, another Ironworks. That, fortunately, isn't as good in multiples as Scrap Trawler is. That's just another artifact to sack. Unfortunately, that gets back the second Scrap Trawler. And I'm assuming, yeah, we're dead. Cool, they did it. That's fantastic. Alright, we went to negative 36. How does that change how we sideboard? Basilisk Collar still doesn't seem that good. Just because even if we survive Aether Flux Reservoir, they can probably get high enough to dome us twice. And are we really getting above 100 life? I doubt it. Spreading Seas seems worth it. I don't know if I want to drop that Lightning Bolt. Just because killing Scrap Trawler seems appealing. I'm going to drop the other Spell Snare, run this. Let's give it a shot. We're on the play. You can believe it. How good's this hand? It's fantastic. Deprive's downside might show up, but it also might not. We're going to grab a Steam Vents. We also might just grab Breeding Pool and traverse out an island, just so that we ensure that Deprive is a little easier on us. We're either casting Visions or Traverse. I'm not entirely sure which one we want to cast. Visions hopefully draws us into more disruption, but we already have 2 pieces of disruption, so maybe we just want to make sure we hit that land drop, in which case we have Rejection plus Deprive for turn 3, which sounds great. I'm going to do that. Both Traverse and Visions are sorceries, so both are going to grow Goyf. Let's grab a basic island. This is exciting. Combo decks are fun to play against. At least they are when you're playing a tempo deck with a bunch of counters. Thoughtseize. That I never would have expected. They're going to take Tarmogoyf almost certainly. That or they just want to fight through 1 piece of disruption. We're going to fetch out a Steam Vents, cast Visions. I'm assuming they take Tarmogoyf. If they don't take Tarmogoyf, we slam Tarmogoyf. On the bright side, they lose 2 life. On the downside, they know our hand. They took Rejection. That's interesting. We hit another land. We probably don't show them that for a little while. I want to slam this Tarmogoyf. And I think we're just going to play the island. Does it matter? It could. We also have the option to keep above 15 life, which might come up since we have so many lands. It's entirely possible we end up with 7 permanents, sack everything but 1 creature to Emrakul, just barely survive and then kill them on the crackback with 1 dude. Pretty unlikely though. I'm gonna get Steam Vents, I think. Do we actually want double red? Bolt Snap Bolt's a thing. Maybe we just get a basic island. Bolt Snap Bolt. We have Revelry too. It's entirely possible they have a Fatal Push here since they let us keep our Tarmogoyf, but I'm still going to play it out. If they have Push, they're not going to stop having Push. So I'd rather get my clock down immediately. Pyrite Spellbomb, cool. Mana Leak. We can still only cast 1 piece of disruption here, so I'm going to Visions. Another Visions, a Bauble. We drew another piece of disruption. Bauble's nice. Visions, we actually have a lot of mana, but we're kind of going to end up choked on blue, so I think I'm going to bottom it. We're going to get in for 3. If we don't have to Denial here, we're going to do our best not to, because it's the only 1 CMC blue spell we have here. We're going to want to be able to counter something this turn, and then counter 2 things next turn. That's okay. It ain't great, because it's going to draw them cards, but we're going to let it be. We could have countered that to aggressively put Artifact and Instant in the bin to grow Tarmogoyf. That gives us a 3-turn clock. That's enticing. I might counter this star with Mana Leak. We can Bauble next turn, but that's still a 4-turn clock. What are the chances we don't find any reach? They're going to be gaining life anyways. That's fine. That's fine. We're going to hold on to our Disruption. They're going to gain slight amounts of life off of that Inventor's Fair. We're going to cast this. We know they have Thoughtseize now, but I still want to crack it, just because we might draw even more Disruption. We found a Thoughtseize on top. If we pay Shock here, we have Leak plus Deprive. Pretty unlikely we need both next turn. I think we're going to play this tapped. Get in for 4. We draw Mandrills, okay. That might get seized. Do we want to consider Denialing Thoughtseize? We might. They have... What did they play? It was an island. We can counter that. And then we still have 1 counter available for this turn. And that means we can slam Mandrills and have at least 1 counter up, which seems decent. On the other hand, they're going to Thoughtseize us, take our best card. They go down to 10. We're going to hit them. Goyf's going to grow to a 5/6 because there are no instants or creatures in the bin yet. So then we have a 2-turn clock. This screws that up, but we might find reach. Otherwise, we counter this, Goif's still a 5-6. We hit them down to 7. We probably play out Mandrills if at all possible. Although we actually might not, just so we can hold both of these up again. Assuming we don't cast one after countering this Thoughtseize. I'm not sure what we want to do here. Thoughtseize, okay, if Denial is good, here's the thing. If Denial is good, they're going to take Denial. In which case, we counter Thoughtseize, and then they're just up 2 life instead of having it resolve, but they don't know our hand. They already know these two, I believe. They definitely know Deprive. Them knowing Mandrills doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world. I'm going to let it happen. They're going to take our best counter, but that's probably Denial. They also might take Mandrills, but I think I'm okay with that too, because that just means we have Denial, Leak, and Deprive. We're seeing the drawback to bobbling on their turn. Sorry, we actually bobbled on our turn to draw, more so to get an artifact in the bin to grow Goif, deal an extra damage, which I think is what we want to be doing there. But this does give them the option to take Mandrills, which I don't think I even want to cast, so I'm really hoping they take Mandrills. What I don't want to see is them take Denial, because that's the best card in our hand. Deprive's a pretty close second. Mana Leak is going to get out of range pretty soon, although it still counters some good stuff. They took that. That's okay with me, I think. I believe that's fine. That, I believe we want to let resolve. That's going to put a card back on the bottom. They're going to draw a card, but that's okay. I don't think I want to dust off my Mana Leak for that. What do we got here? Sack Terrarion, draw a card. Okay. If they have a Fatal Push, we're definitely denialing it. Want to keep my hand nice and far away from that 1 key. Accidentally letting removal resolve would be a very good way to lose this game. It's a very good way to lose a lot of stuff. I'm not sure what we're waiting on here. They might be deciding to cast something. Maybe they're sacking some eggs. Okay, that's fine. They draw a card. That is A-okay. Ichor Wellspring, we could counter that. That keeps them off of cards, but I think we're looking to choke them on the cards that are relevant because they don't have that much mana here. If they cast an Krark Clan Ironworks, which I'm still somehow having trouble with just because part of me wants to say Ironworks, part of me wants to say the full name, we're going to hit them for 5. We can counter 2 spells this turn, 2 spells next turn. If we draw Reach, we have Lethal. Actually, once we put an instant in the bin, we have Lethal. There are no instants in any graveyards. Land, creature, yes there is. There's a rejection. I lied. I have been living a lie for probably the past 4 turns. It's only turn 5, probably the past 3. So we don't have guaranteed Lethal. We do have a lot of stuff to buy us time, though. We're going to Mana Leak that. Mana Leak is still the worst card in our hand. Get that out of here. You don't need it. We want to stop that just because of the life gain, I think. And the fact that it is eventually a win con. 1 mana, sack, Spellbomb. Oh, they're just drawing a card, okay. Does it automatically? Nope, does not automatically shock. Okay. Bobble, that's fine. This all looks like a good reason to counter that. They're going to take a look at our top card, okay. This all makes me happy that we countered the Aetherflux Reservoir, because they would have gained... They scoped. That's always jarring. I hate that MTGO does that. At the end of a league, if you have prizes, it just boots you straight to the prizes. It's way too excited. I wonder what they saw. Can we draw? It was Bolt! How cool is that? We just had super duper lethal. We countered this. They cast Bauble, Opal, and that might have been it. So they would have drawn at least 2 off of this, because they had already cast this. I'm not sure if they cast anything else beforehand. I don't think so. So they would have gained 2, they would have gained 3, they would have been up to 11. They wouldn't have had to scoop there. Then again, we would have had an extra mana leak. But do we need 4 counters in hand when we have 3 blue mana up? I don't think so. These 3 didn't end up mattering because we had this, but that's why we play red in our Delver decks. Anyways, that's what we do against combo. I really think they should have taken our Tarmogoyf because that would have bought them a lot of time. But anyways, we're not going to gripe over our opponent allowing us to have Tarmogoyf in play. To be fair, taking rejection is at least somewhat decent, because it's a really good counterspell against just about everything in their deck that is not named Whir of Invention. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed that video, and I hope to see you in the next one. We pulled out a 3-2. How cool is that? I honestly don't even care how this match went. That red-green Eldrazi match just had me so happy. Not how the match actually played out, but after all the punting I did on the last stream, just sitting there and thinking through my plays and making good plays. I know it sounds probably really silly, but that just makes me so happy. I'm a sap. I like playing good Magic. That's what Magic's about. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Probably... Well, this is probably going to get posted about a week after the last stream, because that stream was on Friday, and I just finished this league on Sunday, and I streamed slightly less than a week before, I believe, on the Sunday before that Friday, which means this is my 3rd league within a span of 14 days, and that's a lot of Magic. Fortunately, we 3-2'd 2 of those leagues, so it doesn't feel that bad. I'd be quite a bit more ecstatic to have gone 4-1, 5-0. We're still waiting for that elusive 5-0. But people who play as poorly as I do every now and then probably don't 5-0 that often. You'll notice we ended up going to 8:25 on the clock here in this match, because I've been trying to sit and think a little more actively after that previous league. That league was bad. I will be the first to say that was horrendous. Anyways, again, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.